The president is still pushing for a new health care law. So far, the Republicans have fallen short on the votes needed to repeal Obamacare because some Republican senators have balked at voting for the measure. Earlier this week, the president took aim, not at Democrats, but at Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
I'm very disappointed in Mitch, but if he gets these bills passed, I'll be very happy with it, and I'll be the first to admit it.
Trump and Mitch McConnell, how much longer do these guys have? What can Trump do about Mitch McConnell and Republicans that just don't seem to be on the agenda? Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor and State Assembly Speaker Willie Brown, what does he see as McConnell's future?
He can be there for as long as he can hold on to the votes. I've gone through that. You recall when the Gang of Five went after me? Let me tell you, the leader, no matter who the governor is or the president, the leader in the House makes to book with his own, and Mitch is making to book.
Well, and also, there doesn't seem to be anyone really gunning for this job. It doesn't appear to be a whole lot of fun, frankly. While a very powerful position, there's no sort of organized opposition that we're aware of. He seems to be sort of a Pelosi-type character, somebody who's in leadership, like it or not, for as long as they want to be.
You know, with all due respect, he is not a Pelosi-like character.
Well, I just mean...
Pelosi, let me tell you something. Pelosi heard that, and she'd probably turn us off. We don't want that. We want her to listen to us.
Don't unfriend me.
All right.
No.
Her point
I just
is
mean, like,
that she's playing to the base. He's taking care of these individual senators who don't want to commit necessarily on health care. They don't want to talk about taxes, and they don't want to get involved in the infrastructure.
And Phil, they also have some other things that are high priority with them. Where their office is located, whether or not they got a window, where their parking space is. There are some serious things.
I love the way
Mitch
you
McConnell
take
brings
politics
the
and the governance and bring it down to how my office is decorated, because, like it or not, sometimes that is a priority with these people.
I'm telling you, that's the site. Who I can hire, who I can't hire, what they'll be paid, whether or not I can go on the next trip that we're going on, you know, for
another junket.
That
Do
is
I get
correct.
a ticket on the junket?
That all counts. And then finally, can you deliver? The Koch brothers, Sheldon Adelson, can you deliver? And believe me, that guy's in a position to do that. He'll get hurt only when the plug is pulled on his ability to satisfy you, a voter in his constituency.
That's an interesting dynamic, because they have voters in their constituencies, the senators, that are not necessarily in favor of what they're doing. But after years of telling the American public they had a new health care law, they had a new tax plan, they had an infrastructure deal, you bring them in and they go, well, we really don't.
Well, you know, you really can't put that on President Trump. I mean, he probably should have had a more fleshed out plan as well, but the notion that he's the reason why things aren't getting passed just isn't true. There's plenty of blame for people like Mitch McConnell who found themselves flat-footed, to go around.
And that's what makes summer fun. Well, the threats from President Trump, or at least the statements, are getting stronger. We're hearing things like locked and loaded, fire and sound and fury, rabid puppies. The question is, who's he talking to? Is he talking to North Korea, or is he talking to his own base? That's what Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, no stranger to bombastic rhetoric himself. Okay, Mayor, who's he talking to?
No, he's talking to that one guy in Michigan that voted for him. He's talking to those three guys in Pennsylvania that previously voted for Obama and now voted for him. He's talking to those pats in the backcountry where I came from in Texas, and they love hearing that. They love hearing, you gonna punch him?
Well, I think there are a lot of Americans who feel like there hasn't been someone really standing up and being very forceful toward North Korea. The strategic patience policy is something that I think felt a little empty to a lot of folks. And I think even people who aren't necessarily Trump supporters, secretly, when the camera turns off, will say, you know what, I'm glad somebody finally said it and, really asserted our power as a superpower.
But you, as a negotiator, over the years, if you amp up the speech and we start talking at that level, where do we go from here?
Well,
the only thing left is action.
No, keep in mind that he has now probably reached the same level of near irrationality as the guy who is running North Korea. They could very well be on the same playing page all of a sudden. They could actually be talking to each other a spot that most of us don't know about. You know, like how you whistle for the dog and only the dog hears it? That's where they are.
Well, at the same time, we know that, for example, during the Cold War with Russia, there was a lot of back-channeling going on, and certain people in the foreign intelligence community say, you know what, it means more when it's quieter, when it's actually back-channeled through certain diplomatic channels, but that each leader knows that what you say in front of the cameras to your folks in Michigan isn't to be taken seriously, that what you should take seriously are those quieter messages.
The folks in Michigan are taking it seriously. And is the president in the danger of pushing us all into a corner?
He will not allow himself, I don't think, ultimately, to be put into that corner. For years, people have been trying to put Trump in a corner. They've been trying to control Trump. They've been trying to predict. You can't predict this guy. There's nothing rational about his conduct. And unless you're like the guy headed North Korea, you got no idea where he's going.
Well, if we've watched the Trump presidency, there is a certain pattern. He manages to change the subject and pick what subject he wants to talk about. North Korea's threats are not new. It's been going on for some time. But after the health care, after the Russia investigations, it is becoming front and center again.
Well, it's one of these things, if you look on, for example, the president's Twitter feed, there are a number of people sort of in there saying this is just wag the dog. People don't be distracted by what he's doing, accusing the president of sort of whipping up a fight with North Korea.
What are his poll numbers at these days?
They're fairly low, depending on who you talk to, anywhere from 25 to 33%. They've sort of ratcheted down slowly throughout the presidency. But that's not to say that people aren't in favor of what he's doing in North Korea. That's a different question. And I think maybe some folks are. But he seems to, but there are some people who think this is a distraction. Then again, North Korea keeps firing longer and longer range missiles. So.
Right. It's a distraction, or he's finally addressing something that people feel should have been addressed. And either way, the question is he talking to his base,